Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I have received many messages and queries asking for trade logic for every trade that I have taken. And it is possible to share that logic. But I have actually, instead of sharing the logic on an individual trade basis, what I have tried to do is I have tried to outline the framework basis which I take my decisions, and I have shared them in the Hindi channel Sahil Romitra in more detail. Of course, I've shared them on this channel also, but it's mostly in English. Um, One of the questions that actually came to me, and it came to me via LinkedIn, was that do you bottom pick stocks? And that in the mentorship course, I actually said that we will focus on entering using stop loss and not on entering using limit orders. And what was the reason for it? So the reason is that for an amateur trader, buying using stop loss mechanisms helps them to stay alive for a very very long time, because when you buy as a breakout stop loss, typically a range has already formed below, and and the stock can always break the range low, but there is always a probability that the range low will hold. Whereas if you are bottom picking, you are trying to enter even before the range is formed, and what you are saying is that the range will form at this level at which you are entering. So the level of precision required is very high, and an understanding of the stock and the understanding of certain variables required is actually quite high. And then there is this downside. The downside is that if in the event there is a tsunami, like a systemic failure in the market, something that we experienced in October 24, then when you start bottom picking as an habit, and actually this is what I did somewhere around December, January, I started bottom picking very aggressively, because I was which was the reason was, there is this US election, and we had our budget, and at that time we had the Delhi state election, so there was always a probability that BJP would win even at that time after 27 years. So I just thought that all of these factors put together will result in a bottom consolidation in the subsequent expiry, but that never really happened, and consequently I gave away a lot of my gains for that year. So the upside obviously of picking up the bottom is that you get a huge risk reward, and your trade is never really in any problem if you have indeed managed to pick up a bottom. So in today's video, I just thought that maybe I'll discuss a case in which I was trying to bottom pick, and though I have not really taught it in the mentorship, and I don't think so I'll be teaching it actively, because it is just risky to communicate this message, because there is one day, not now, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, there is going to be a panic crash in the market, something like the crash that US has seen in the 1980s and things like that. And I don't want that people who would have spent over 5-10 years listening to me to just get caught up in that, and that will be really really tragic. Any which ways, let's look at the stock that I bottom picked actually. It was Vedanta for December series. First of all, let's just assess the trend, which we always do on the monthly charts, just to get an idea of what the stock is doing. And we can see that this high of 495 500, when it was taken off in September of 24, after which the market corrected, this high was taken off, and then there was a pullback back into the market, and again at the same level, 495 500 levels, the stock took off again, and now this it took off in October, November, and now we are here in December. As we are seeing this, it's a complete breakout, and it's currently trading at near 600 levels. That's 20% up. Now obviously I'm fully aware of the role of 495 500 levels on this chart, and so are you. Now you're fully aware of this role, and now the only question becomes is this going to be a value in which we are going to place an entry? So we obviously just move down on the daily, and we see this 495 500 levels, the same line that we have drawn. There is this breakaway gap here. If I can just click so that the click is available, or maybe I'll just try and draw an arrow. This here is the breakaway gap. I means the arrow orientation is wrong, so maybe I'll just this here. Yes. Why is it a breakaway gap? It's because obviously we are seeing this consolidation, and usually when a gap takes off after a period of consolidation, and at this level 495 500, like I discussed, it's going to be very very critical, which means that once the stock takes off and creates this kind of a high, I am betting now, after a breakaway gap, that I am going to defend this 500 levels. And logically, this is somewhere around, as you can see, this is somewhere around 24th of November. So 24th of November, it makes no sense to bottom pick for November series. So logically, the bottom pick attempt will now happen for December series. And once you see that there is work done, I mean this 495 500, if I zoom into this now and I just go here, you will note that this is actually a double bottom with this low. And on the shorter time frames, on the hourly time frames, this low, this low right here, this low right here, this low right here, and this one here, there are too many tests of this support. And as a bottom pick, obviously the downside is that it will break down, and you have to exit. And like I have already told you, I'll put a 10 rupee SL or something, because if I take the average trading range and I put the cursor around this, it's at 12 rupees, but in the futures it was at about 11 rupees. So 11 rupees would be the SL. So 495 entry would necessarily warrant a 484 SL on the trade. 484 is somewhere around here. I mean, an 11 rupee SL is basically what I came for in that trade. I'll mark it with the red line. And obviously, if I'm entering at 495 with SL 484, then I'm going for a target of something like somewhere around 525 or 530. I mean, if you see this here, this is obviously the previous resistance, so this becomes a good point, actually, 535, to take a target. So now with this assessment of simple price action, and obviously we combine so many other things that we have learned, we will now try to see the position on Vedanta, and you will see that this is the Vedanta future, and now here you will see the entry at 499.2. You will see only one lot, because like I said that I would have booked the target for the second lot. This 499.2 entry would be with an SL. I mean, this is futures, obviously. 495 500 was the level at which I was going to enter any which ways. So the spot and future has some difference. It will have like a 3.5 rupee difference. So logically, I attempted to bottom pick this, and this is the value that I got of 499. And obviously at around 525 530 I would have taken out a lot, and now it's currently trading at near 600 levels. It's doing well. It's unlikely that it's coming back anytime soon, and I have discussed the process of trailing SLs also with you. In my other channel, you can use a lot of mechanical indicators like Chandler's exit or parabolic SAR or super trend, or you could use like rule of 6. That's something that I spoke about earlier. There are a lot of methods to automate your stop loss systems also. The worst kind of method is to not put the stop loss, because you cannot determine quantity, but you have to know what you're trading. And typically for me, 1 ATR if I'm bottom picking, 3 ATR if I'm buying in a stop loss level is typically how I behave on the time frame that I'm behaving. And yes, so this basically now is the 499. I will just try and see how it looks on the chart, because actually, sorry, I would have ended up buying, which would have been very bad. So if I just see the chart here, and I set it up on, I don't know, hourly. So obviously all of our assessment has happened on the day. I'll just set it up on the day, because so this here is 499 500 right here. You can see where the cursor is marked. This is 499 500. This is our first target point. It pulls back and it rallies again. Obviously my SL never changed because it was a pivotal SL. I've spoken to you about it, and I didn't want to give that trade, but fair enough. This is basically, so I mean, if you just see actually, so trend has just hit a target. I mean, it's a part of the process. It's a routine part of the process. So I hope that putting this chart in front of you and simply outlining it with price action has made some sense. A lot of work goes into planning a particular trade, and it doesn't have to work. I mean, the trade doesn't actually have to work. But my point is this, that when you put a 180 SL, and if it hits that 180 SL and you book it at that, it is a case it is a condition in which the trade did work, because you are entering on the daily double bottom or hourly double bottom. This is how you would see this in the hourly. And if it breaks the hourly double bottom or the daily double bottom with an 1 ATR value, you just simply exit the trade. And obviously, I mean, with a lot size of maybe 2300, putting an SL of nearly 10 to 12 rupees, I would have lost, I mean, two lots of 2300. I would have lost 23 to, 30,000 rupees. I do not know. But when it gives, then the highest gainer is going to be 1,14,000. I mean, so and it's, has it reached its potential? Maybe not, but that's not my point. But that's not my job to guess. The only thing that I know is that this was the pivotal SL. I'll just mark here with maybe just, yeah, I'll just try to, this was the value which I was seeing at the time of entry. Now the pivotal low is here. So there really actually isn't much change. I mean, even from here, if you see the ATR is approximately 12, the low is around 502. So this just moves up to 490. So there really isn't much change. So actually I haven't even changed the stop loss, because I obviously will know when it is coming back all the way to 435, 535. The thing is that once it comes back towards 535, it'll become oversold again, and I know that I'm more likely to buy it again. So that's the reason why I'm not in that urgency to move the SL, and I don't behave like that generally. So that was the intention of this particular video as to how to bottom pick a stock. Do I advise it? The answer is for sure no. It's very difficult to create a system which depends entirely on bottom picking. In fact, this might just be a case of successful trade which worked. A lot of trades failed. I mean, if you look at the other stocks, like for example National Aluminium, I have covered this and this will be showcased. So you'll see that National Aluminium one lot 1.6 lakh, idea one lot 1.5 lakh, and that's where we want to go. And I still don't think this is peak strength of the market. Like on one lot you can easily make 2 3 4 lakhs. I'm not saying easily, but with correct technique it is possible. And that is the campaign, so to speak, that we should take up as traders. Like as traders we should plan ki, okay, if you're watching these videos, if you're watching my videos and forming a behavioral opinion on the market, then what we really want to do is we want to learn how to hold till expiry. We want to learn how to factor gaps. We want to create position sizing, expecting that we are going to hold them for a couple of weeks or months. And that is going to bring down your trading cost compared to other traders, and that's putting you ahead of almost 90%, 95%, just like that. And then if your assessment becomes good, and it will become good, I mean, whatever level you are at right now is the lowest level you will be at, and from here again you will continue learning. And if you keep reading books, and your assessment is going to keep improving. But if you make blunders like not putting a stop loss, of not having clarity on why you're entering, what you're doing, then obviously you're going to pay a price. And now the intention, of course, is not to just showcase, okay, these are earnings and losings or something. It's actually for whatever it's looking like here. I mean, if you see here, it's 18.5 lakhs. The account is just going to break even actually on my capital. So it looks like it's really good, but actually, in all honesty, it means nothing on the account level. Is just indicative that until market doesn't break out, like it's at 26,190, unless it really doesn't go and take out 26,300, there is not much money to be made, in all of this scenario. So but even breaking even for a very, very long time is not a bad thing. You're just in the market for so long that eventually when something good happens, you are placed into the market. So we will avoid basic errors, at least not the viewers of this channel, like these things, like not putting an SL, randomly entering quantities, averaging after averaging, not having a clear plan, and letting your hormones do the job for you. That's just not, I mean, that's just not how we behave in trading, like that's for sure. We have to learn to separate all of that behavior. With that, I hope that this theme would have added some value to you on bottom picking. I'll just go through some queries. Salish has said that he has learned things from me, and I really, really appreciate the kind message, Salish. I will reply back. I've just been terribly busy. Sudhir welcomes me, and I am happy because Sudhir has interacted a lot. Saurabh asks a lot of technical questions, so let's just see. On retracement, okay, he is talking about a very, very old video. Actually, this fellow is Saurabh is a hardworking fellow. He's gone through a lot of my content, and So he's basically saying according candlestick patterns. Yeah, so Saurabh, so first question is for confirmation of candlestick closing, next candle is mandatory. No, it depends on the pattern, Saurabh. Like if it is a hammer pattern, then it doesn't require that. If it is a morning star pattern, then it requires 3 candles to form. So then the fourth candle will be a confirmation one. In case it's a bullish harami or engulfing, then it's a one again a pattern, 2 candle pattern, and the third candle will confirm. So it actually depends on what's the candle. Why we want the confirmation is because the confirmation that you're seeing on the daily is actually a range on the hourly, and a range can hold for a few hours. So that's the reason why we want the confirmation. Which turning point is to be considered to be? Yes, so Saurabh, that is correct. When you are looking at a chart, and that is what actually happens whenever we look at a chart, our objective as a trader is simply to focus on the key levels of the chart. Like we don't look at everything. For example, this level right here, I'll just mark this here. This level is not a key level at all for me, because this stock has to confirm near 500 levels if it is doing well or not. 367 levels, like if for any reason the stock is going back into 367, obviously this it'll become a range for me, and typically I typically wouldn't want to create a position on such a stock. It is just that it had broken out, it had created a life high, then it struggled during a phase when the entire market struggled, and then when it took it out again, I became alert. And then so you can see that how long, when it broke out of 500, I knew of it breaking out of 500. When it broke out again of 500, again I knew it is going to break out of 500. But then you have to wait for so long till it forms a double bottom, then you preempt a double bottom, and then maybe you get like 15-20% in an expiry in a good case, which is what I'm showing there. It's a lot of hard work, and therefore I feel that maybe it's better off that you just put a mechanical buying stop loss and just enter the trade, and put a mechanical sell exit stop loss and leave the trade. So yes, so that is what. So answering Saurabh's question, this becomes, I mean, his point is, this is a level, this is another level, this is another level. How do I react? So the answer is, we train ourselves to recognize the most important level, and place our behavior only around those levels. We don't check everything. Thank you, Ketan, for your kind support, and Sammy also. Thank you very much. And yeah, Ravi also. Ravi, please share entry logic behind recent losing trades and learnings from them. So Ravi, I want to clarify, I don't learn much from a losing trade. I understand what you're getting at, that we learn from our losing trades. Actually, I don't learn from a losing trade as much as I learn from a losing theme. Like for example, if I bottom pick like 15 stocks and all 15 of them or 10 of them go and fail, I really learn a lot. Like usually it would be characterized by something silly from my side also, and market would have behaved a little differently at that time. So, or similarly, like for example, if you see that I put a 30 period moving average, and a question could be, I mean, it's there, 30 period moving average is what was there in the chart. Question is, why was the 30 period moving average? Because when I spoke to Milind, he spoke about 30-week moving average being a good SL for him and things of that sort. So I thought, why not? Why not just use it? I was always using 20 and 50. I just simply out of, just I had this discussion, and I thought, why not 30 period? So when it fails, I will learn that this is not suitable to my style. But a lot of stocks have to fail for me to learn. I don't think so I would learn from a single losing trade. Like for example, here today, if you see that I booked out of Dr. Reddy, I think. So Dr. Reddy is a case in which I booked out loss. Here you can see this one here. All right, and you will also see that this loss has happened on 3 lots. I think it's 625 is the lot size. So 625 is the lot size. 3 lots booked on losses, and 40,000 booked, which means I was booking around 13 to 14,000 rupees of loss. 13 to 14,000 rupees loss on a lot is, I do not know, maybe it's 1.5 or 2%. उसमें इतना सीखने के लिए नहीं है. But if I book like 8-10 losses, then yes, then the learnings actually start, which happened to me sometimes in Feb, in January actually. In January, I learned that this whole bottom picking thing in a tsunami doesn't work, and that is the reason why when I took the mentorship course in February, March, I never told anyone let's go ahead and bottom pick. I mean, I didn't want to, we just have suffered, so I didn't want to teach that. But definitely, if you bought with an SL, it was doing well. So with that, I hope I've addressed as many queries as possible, including the logic for a particular trade. I wish you all the best and thank you for your time.